Another problem for the Prime Minister, though, is the Rwanda issue in all of this. Now, should we be able to deport people to Rwanda if we want to? The government, so we're told, David, is trying to sort of work out how they can ignore the European Court of Human Rights on this. Is this something they can move forward on?
Well, first of all, I think it's crazy to want to move them to Rwanda. What they should have done, of course, is to create a law where effectively the lawyers and British courts are not allowed to intervene when somebody turns up uninvited on a beach and expects then to invoke rights that they shouldn't have in order to be able to stay. But, you know, what I find very curious, when I was a Home Office Minister, I became obsessed with the European Court of Human Rights. I hated it. I even went there. I used to argue that because they have no mandatory power, and this is why I thought former Lord Justice Thomas talking as if it was a court. It's not. It's not a court that has binding powers over the British court. And you'd have thought he, as someone...
You get the impression it does.
No, it absolutely doesn't. And there's a lot of confusion. At the end of the day, who is to decide whether or not someone should come to this country? I think the government are entitled to make that decision. If the government has to be supervised by somebody, they should be supervised by British judges, not by... I mean, of course, it's not so bad as it used to be. In the good old days, as I think of the past, the sort of people that were on the European Court of Human Rights were ex-apparatchiks from communist regimes. And the idea that these people were fit and qualified to make legal judgments binding on the British people. But I think one of the worrying things, and I'm sorry to say this, this government has never produced anybody who can speak with authority on these legal issues. And I believe, based on the work that I did, if you stand up and you say the European Court of Human Rights does not have any power over the British legal system, I believe I would be right.
So if they haven't got any power, Charlie, why is the government getting so het up in this? Why is it proving such an obstacle?
Well, I think, Dodger, what David said was absolutely right. I think it's the case of not wanting to go against what is perceived or otherwise to be international law. If you are the United Kingdom, you are someone that upholds the rule of law. And what the European Court of Human Rights has been able to do is issue what is known as a Section 39 order, which has in the past, whatever your views on Rwanda and whatever your views on how you deal with migration in this country or illegal immigration in this country, when there have been occasions where the Home Secretary has wanted to deport people that do not have the right to be in this country, where you've seen planes on the tarmac, but they've not been able to take off because of the intervention of the European Court of Human Rights. That is the dispute here. The proposals that are, we assume are going to be put forward next week as part of the amendment to the immigration bill is to make sure that that it is British law and it is British judges that have the final say as to whether those planes can take off and whether you can deport people or not.
OK, we end on a bit of agreement.
There's no... He and I are, we are cuddled up in our agreements.
Did he make you a cup of tea?
It's all the other people we're talking about who don't agree about anything.
Did he make you a cup of tea, David?
He didn't.
No, that's shocking.
I'm not properly looked after.
You're not.
But don't worry. But I would never complain.
Go have a cuddle and a tea now.
I'm not the complaining sort. Yes, are you available for a cuddle and a tea?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'll make you the tea. I'll come back to you on the cuddle.